McInerney from Croakey here, and I'm talking to Indigo Daya, who I've been a big fan of for some time, having read much of your writing as a consumer in the mental health field, yeah? So I was hoping, could you just tell us a bit of your journey and what you're taking out of tonight, because we're at the VMIAC Awards for consumers in the workforce, mental health workforce. So where has your story led from?
Wow, tonight is incredibly special for me, and I think for almost everyone who's here, because my journey began as a mental health consumer, not that I called myself that, but as a person who was treated compulsorily in mental health services, and I had many years of losing my sense of self, of losing my hope, and of losing a will to live, really. So I'm someone who found mental health services not helpful. I actually found that they increased my sense of disability. And for me, my great healing came when I finally let go of thinking that I had an illness, and of actually connecting with my peers and looking into my past, looking at trauma from my childhood, and coming to understand that my madness had meaning. That I didn't have some random chemical imbalance in my brain, that I actually had a really meaningful experience.
Where did that breakthrough come? And I presume it wasn't in a short amount of time.
No, it was over many years. It was really over many years, and it came from my peers, from other consumers, and I guess that's why tonight is so special. That we as consumers, sometimes we prefer to be called survivors, sometimes we prefer to be called people, generally get put into these boxes. We're mad, we're mentally ill, we're sufferers, we're people to be pitied, we're disabled, whatever those labels might be. Or then we become activists and advocates and consultants and people who are constantly asking for change and better services. But tonight there was none of that. Tonight we were people who care, we're people who are survivors, we're people who care about one another, have learnt from our experiences, and we came together to honour that. And it is so rare. I haven't been to an event where we have honoured each other not for our mental health experiences or struggles, but for our shared work to have better lives, to have our rights upheld, to make sure that our dreams are possible and are respected. And so it was just a magical night. Yeah.
What stops that from happening more often?
Wow, I don't know what stops it from happening. Maybe it's about stigma and discrimination. Maybe it's that we're a minority group, although I'm not sure that that's actually true, that we're a minority group. Maybe it's just weird, the idea that we could celebrate madness and fighting for mad rights. Maybe that's still a step that society hasn't quite got to yet, but hopefully we're starting to bring that thinking along, that madness is something that we can be proud of, and that there are many ways that you can live with madness and celebrate it.
Because that's been a big shift, hasn't it? Not just more from the beginning to actually be recognised as participants in society, but now to move through to celebrating and acknowledging experience and what that brings. And Kath Roper said earlier that, you know, you bring very special, very useful things to our world.
Yeah, I think we do. I think there's an emergent academic field called MAD Studies that's about the way that we see the world. It doesn't really exist in universities in Australia yet, but it's starting to really blossom overseas. So we do bring something new, but I think consumers, survivors, mad people, we're still an emerging civil rights movement that many people don't understand. But nights like tonight, I think they're going to start to shift that.
Now, I know you said people weren't out there saying what we need is what we need is, but What would you like to see happen? And I know you've talked about greater percentage of consumers in the workforce in the past, but what would you like to see happen in either in your life or more generally in policy or anything?
I would like to see every person be able to get the support that they want and need in the way that they want it to happen. And if people want things that seem strange or unusual, for us to actually respect those diverse needs and find creative ways to adapt.
Indigo, thank you very much. It's so fantastic to meet you.
Thank you.